Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the UiPath Tech Evenings. Tonight we're going to be talking about the challenges of building scalable products. I'm excited to be here. My name is Sean Bave. I think my big face is up there. Oh, it was. My name is Sean Bave. I'm the managing director for Stack Overflow in EMEA, so don't let the t-shirt fool you. I'm not a UiPath employee, but I'm excited to be here and excited to learn from our speakers and to hear what everyone has to say. So I will be your master of ceremonies, hopefully talking as little as possible, because I'm not the content. I hope everyone's excited to be here. And I know I'm excited to welcome up Daniel, the CEO and co-founder, and Bobby, the CMO, for our first talk.
Nice to
Yeah, good to meet you too, man. Have fun out there.
I can talk loud. Okay, there we go. We could have called the fireside chat "Challenges of Building Scalable Company."
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm here with Daniel Dinez. You all probably know Daniel. He's a rock star in RPA, and I run marketing for the company. And I have a pleasure to be in this beautiful building with you all today and here in Bucharest. I'm going to ask Daniel a few questions, and maybe we'll just let it go from there. But you have kind of a fascinating story. Maybe your background a bit, and when you first started coding would be a good place to start.
Well, first of all, thank you all for being here. It's kind of an unexpected position to be here on the stage. I used to be there. I never thought I'd be here, as I just joked with a good friend of mine. Look, I've started, as probably many of you, as a software engineer. I'm an old generation of software engineer, and I'm not the type of guy that used to tinker with computers. Actually, I owned my first computer when I was like 30 or something. So and I learned programming more on a theoretical way. So it's actually how I started. One day I met a good friend of mine. I studied computer science of the university just here, and I never thought actually that I'll make a career in computer science. It was beginning of the 90s. I had completely other agenda in my mind. But this guy told me casually that he got a job as a software engineer. And I asked him, how much money do you make? And he told me 300. It was like $300 a month, not a day, like some of the people make nowadays. And I was absolutely ravished by this. $300 a month, like around 1995 or 94, was huge. Believe me, it was a huge load of money. You could have lived like a king here in Bucharest. So I thought to myself, maybe my background in computer engineering is not completely useless, as I thought. And that summer, I got a book from one of my friends, and that book happened to be like Programming C++ of Bjarne Strostrup, which is an amazing book today, because I read it a bit like like an adventure book. I was fascinated and starting to understand how languages work. And then fast forward, I got a job here in Bucharest. My first salary was $180 per month, so I wasn't as good as my colleague. And then after a few years of working, I got a job offer in Microsoft, so I moved to Microsoft beginning of 2001. And then I had a completely crazy idea to come back to Bucharest and build a company. And it was end of 2005. Literally was the craziest and stupidest idea in my life, because we've done everything wrong, but somehow the stars align. And at the point when we started to see traction, then everything that we've done wrong helped us to do a lot of things well. Maybe we can talk about this.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that's fascinating at UiPath is in any meeting we have, any meeting that's all hands or the first thing we talk about is culture. And this is run deeply for some time. There's a phrase, culture eats strategy for breakfast, right, or lunch or dinner, or all three. When did that first become? How did that materialize in you? That culture was so important. How do you define culture?
Look, it's we for like 10 years we were, between 5 to 10 people, and we are very used to work together. We know each other. I don't think we had a culture really. It was us. It's like a group of friends. They don't have a culture. They have common interest in a way, and our common interest was to write software. So it was only about technology. Even today, my first reading in the morning is Y Combinator news. So this is how I keep myself informed on what's going on in the world of technology. And if you don't use it, I strongly advise make it a daily reading. It's the best source of information to keep you up to date. And look, and actually it's interesting. We have a death-like moment around 2011, and then we decided let's have another 2 years, build the best product that we can in this space, and if it's not working, that's okay. We can close the doors. And so when we started to have a bit of success, so it was like in 2015. We actually started to ask ourselves, how can we keep our ethos alive? How can we make sure we make a company that will look like us, like the bunch of people that enjoy working together, enjoy challenging each other? And first of all, we look at a good source of inspiration, which is called Netflix Slides. It's a collection of cultural traits that made Netflix what Netflix is. By some people feel this is one of the best work of Silicon Valley. And we started to define what is our culture. And during I think for the first couple of years, we kind of navigated through different. What do you want from people? You want to have fun at work, and you want them to be accountable. You want hardworking people, and so on. And what's actually going on when you have too many values or behaviors, whatever you call it, they naturally are diluted. So nobody cares about them. So in the end, you end up with no culture. And I believe most companies don't have any culture. And then I started at some point to think at this. And I said, let's find one. What's the most important value that we have? One, single one. And tracing back our history, we as an engineers, we are a bit of a proud guild. In a way. Engineers, general, not only software engineers. Engineers are proud of their craftsmanship. And this is something that can help you become better, but can also prevent you, can make you stuck in a narrow mind. To be ego, in a way, it's the worst enemy of a person. Really, so we have experimented it during our years, and I've seen a kind of track of record of our customers initially saying, "We've chosen UiPath because your competitor were so arrogant." So I've experimented live. Arrogance is a big disadvantage. Arrogant companies are at huge disadvantage. We wouldn't have existed in this market if our competitors were much larger. We were nothing, really. Much larger than us, were not arrogant, were responsive to customers, wanted to make something for. But they were so proud of inventing a category, of building this RPA enterprise. It helped us tremendously. And then I said, why don't we put as the most important tenet of our culture the opposite of arrogance? And this one is humility. And humility is a word that Romanians don't like. But it's humility, because in Romania, humility has a connotation of being a servant. But humility in English doesn't have this connotation. And because we can use humble or humility. You can interchange them, and you are a native speaker. You can say humility
Right.
doesn't mean that you obey a servant.
Correct,
No.
right.
So humility, it's a very powerful concept when you look at it. And it unlocks our entire culture, because first of all, humility makes you listen to the other guys. And first, big lesson for us as engineers, was to listen to our customers. Because we like to build technology for the sake of technology. This is all engineers in the world like to do. But you will end up building something fake if it's not of real use. And when you build something of real use, you will understand it's a different way of satisfaction. When you see real users almost crying, using your software and saying, I don't have to do this shit any longer, that's a different level of satisfaction. But you have to go and listen to customers. And to my biggest surprise, look, we all believe that salespeople are worthless. We all believe that customers are stupid. So we used to believe.
Yeah.
It's like, but look, I found a different story. We talked with, top 1,000 companies in the world. I can tell you, these are a smart bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they are, in what they do, they are definitely smarter than us. They are smarter than us in using our own product.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And we are very fortunate to be able to build a product only by listening to our customers. It's a great moment to be in.
Yeah.
Look, so humility unlocks also another important driver in life, which is the desire to learn. Look, my biggest lesson in life, the biggest thing that I got in my life, and I think if you go today with one thought from all these meetings, this single thought should be, I need to learn. It's so important to consciously learn, to be aware.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, how you know that you learn. When you look back in time, you need to have changed your opinions. If you are stuck in your opinions, you haven't learned anything.
Yeah.
And I know there are core principles, but check yourself. Like, I was a C++ programmer, and I was so proud of being the best, the king of language. I didn't give a shit about VB developers. But then I discovered Node.js, JavaScript, functional languages, Python, Erlang. It's a world of programming languages, and all come with different flavors. It enriches you. But I was stuck. Many years I was stuck. In my Microsoft years, I was completely stuck. I could have learned tennis better. I could have seen US. But I was stuck completely because I didn't understand that I can change and I need to learn. I was stuck in one way of thinking. So it's extremely powerful. So humility, it's core. It's the core concept of our culture.
And you can be bold also, right? It doesn't mean you can't be bold. That's something we always talk about, right?
Yeah, and then actually, only humble people can be truly bold. Because, look, we know all these assholes that drive in Bucharest. They are bold, but they are assholes. It's not the same thing. But if you are humble, when you have the courage to be bold, people will take you seriously. It's completely different level. And you can find in yourself, the courage to be bold. And being bold, it's something like a muscle, because most people can do crazy stuff, but that doesn't mean they are bold stuff. It's to be a bold goal means something that you can hardly achieve. It's extremely difficult to achieve, but it's achievable, or it's achievable in 20%. being able to set this type of goals, it's an art, and it's a muscle, and you need to train it every day. It's like going to gym.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's amazing. I saw, Daniel, this week we crossed 3,000 employees, which is, we were 3.5 years ago, right? Suddenly, half our employees are in product development centers all around the world solving big problems. How do we maintain the culture from 3,000 to 30,000? How do you do that?
So first of all, I forgot to answer your question, why culture? First is why culture. It's, we are not managers. It's a management, it's a science. There are people that are very operational sound. I am not a manager, I am not an operator. Far away, I don't like this. So if you put, I am joking, if you put me to run our sales team, it will be a disaster. And I used to do for some time. But I learned, by my readings about culture, Silicon Valley, how you do companies, that, culture is more important than strategy, more important than operation, more important than anything. And if you hire culturally fit people, and humility helps. Humility helps you to not hire assholes,
right.
which is very important. Assholes kill companies.
Yeah.
And you just empower people, let them do the best. And again, humility helps you. Because you don't try to control everything. You don't have to think, I can do everything better. And even if you can do everything better, you need to empower people. So you should push the decision power as low in a company as possible. Because otherwise, kind of clear that one guy is strangled to making so many decisions. So and it's not scalable. So humility is scalable. And we have our theme of building scalable products. You need to understand, in order to build a scalable product, first thing is to build a scalable team. And the most difficult thing in software engineering is building a scalable team. This is the most difficult thing. I'm sure that some of you don't realize it, but we experimented hands-on, really. And this is how it works.
I love the title too, right? So, one of the things that people don't often know about in RPA and kind of AI are some of the big problems we're trying to solve, right? Engineers love solving big problems.
Yeah.
What are the big problems that you see us trying to solve? And if you're in the audience and you're like getting into something, what would you do?
As engineering.
As an engineer, yeah. Or even as our company, when you look at the problems we're trying to solve, which are huge.
Yeah, look, this is also a lesson that I think it's important for Romanian engineers, and it's in Romania, most of engineers that we know are kind of mainstream technology engineers. They are proud to be C++, C#, Java, whatever engineers, but that's not enough to build scalable products. It's the language is one piece, and it's not quite so important. Mm-hmm. You need to understand how to build distributed systems. You need to understand how to build cloud system, which is a completely different. It's very few people in Romania that ever built large-scale cloud applications. It's a completely different beast, and it's not about the language, it's about the architecture. It's about telemetry. It's about understanding how to run a big service, and this is what we can. This is what we can offer. Building large-scale services. It's a very challenging, absolutely very challenging task.
Yeah.
And look, of course, this is the entire. Yeah. AI piece that we are a company that invests heavily in building machine learning. You will see probably a few a talk about it. It's so if you are really passionate about building distributed application or understanding how machine learning can be deployed for real users, do real something, this is us right now.
Yeah.
And we have another interesting, another big challenge for us is that we have we have like 5 big development centers. And we have Bangalore, Bucharest, Cluj, and
Bellevue.
Brooklyn, which is near
Yeah.
New York, and
Bellevue.
Bellevue, which is near Seattle. It's quite huge, and it's a lot of opportunities for travel. You go, see other people, learn from people. We try to hire the best engineers in the world. We have a few of the best,
Yeah.
I think. I hope that you'll agree with me after all these presentations. It's in the product group, we have an engineering first culture, like Sean said, but it's an engineering first culture in serving the customers.
Yeah.
We are a customer-oriented company. Here you will write software that will solve real problems.
I think probably to end it, one of the most amazing things about the company is, in addition to the technical problems, is the fact that customers love what we do. I remember when I first met Daniel, we were talking about the market, and the narrative was, AI is going to kill jobs. That's not the case at all. In fact, AI makes people happier and improves. I was on the floor of 20 government workers who were very protective of their job, and they had the best worker race a robot. Long story short, the human was able to do an activity in 15 minutes twice. The robot did it 17 times. The entire room screamed and cheered of government workers. Thank God we no longer have to do this shit ever again. And so my final point is, it's not very often in B2B software, because like Oracle and stuff, they don't treat customers that well. But to have a software that's not only cool to build, fun to implement, but that actually makes people smile, I think that's pretty cool. So congratulations on doing that.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right, Daniel. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And maybe we should take some Q&A.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, sure. Any questions? Okay, so the question was, what are the main pitfalls a small startup should avoid in order to scale faster? Look, first of all, you need to get funding. You should understand why we raise so much money, because you fuel growth with money. There is no other way you can do on this planet. So find good investors. That's the best. Don't be afraid of investors. That's the investors are. There are in this life, another good lesson. There are different quality of people in every profession. And unfortunately, here in Romania, we know a lot of stories about a lot of low-quality people, but there are great investors in the world, and they help you build companies. We are very fortunate to have a lot of top-tier investors. It's very sophisticated people. It's their interests and companies are aligned. So that's the first pitfall, that people think, I don't want to give control of my company. What's the value of a company where you have 100% and it's small, nobody cares? It's completely different. There is no way to scale companies without taking and take it. One of our main competitors didn't raise because it was family-owned company. They want to keep protecting, and they raised too late, and we jumped way ahead of them, fueling our growth. And then, look, you need to understand another thing is, usually engineers make companies, a couple of engineers more. You need to understand that technology doesn't sell itself. Even regardless, it's consumer, it's business, it doesn't sell itself. So you have to embrace being a businessman. I know that also has a bad connotation, but one of you should become a businessman, for the good or for the worse of the situation. Building a business means being a real businessman. And I pivoted somehow. I was an engineer, and then I was a product manager, and then I was a sales manager, and end of the day, I'm a businessman.
You had to learn PowerPoint at one point.
Yeah.
Remember your first investor meeting when they asked you for your slide deck, and you said,
"Yeah,
what the hell is a slide deck?"
Yeah, that's true. We don't use slide decks. That's funny. And so look, being a businessman means means to be able to make fast decisions with little data and just go and understand many areas of a company. It's in my opinion, starting a company, it's something that will people embark in starting a company without really understanding what it is. Most of the people, it's known, they will waste their time and their money, and extremely few companies are able to succeed. Non-funding companies, almost zero. Pre-seed, seed, you can see, there are statistics about it. You need to get to Series A in order to have a decent chance of doing something. And Series A, to get a Series A, you need to have 1 million in recurring revenue, and it's hard. Building 1 million in recurring revenue, it's a hard job. Building the company is the hardest job in this world. It's so hard, and it's hard for the mental, first of all, because you will always ask, is it good? What I'm gonna do if I fail? Yeah. And that's, Romania is unfortunately is not a good place to fail. Its culture doesn't embrace failure. People will look at you, and in a way, when you build a company, you build a skill that is not so valuable in a big company. After that, you will become less of an engineer. I've become, at the end of 10 years at doing this in Bucharest, I've become unemployable. I was completely, and my state of mind, I've been through depression. I think it's tough. Right? Take it from me, it's tough. It's very tough, and it's extremely risky.
I think you surrounded yourself, though. You were very deliberate about who you picked. So when it was Excel for the Series A, right? And then you could have gone and raised money from just a single investor, but you wanted the best people who could surround you and give you advice, right?
Yeah, and you can also play one against the other. So it's good to have a syndicate of investors, for sure. But that's it. To get there, you need to have But you need to get fun. Go to an accelerator. Try to get into Y Combinator or 500 startups, whatever. If you don't do this, you are stupid. End of the day, you won't succeed. And you need to. When I ask people, I have the opportunity to talk to many people that have started. I ask them, what drives you? Some of them say money. When someone says money, you can shut down that company. If money drives you to do a startup, go and find a good job. Seriously. Yeah. So ask yourself, I guarantee you, if you ask yourself what drives me, and inside you it's to make money, you are in the wrong place. 100%. So the only thing that can help you is to have a passion for something. Mm-hmm. Because if you are not passionate about it, and you are about to fight best people in the world building startups, it's no chance.
Yeah, find your passion.
Yeah.
Another question? Or back here too. Oh, yeah, but how about up front here and then back? Go ahead.
Where do you see the future? Our future. Look, it's a kind of a normal path of doing an IPO as a company of this size. And and it's also good for our employees. We have everyone in UiPath, by the way, have stock options. So at employment we grant and it's quite generous, and many people made a lot of money of it. That's the good part. After these 10 years, the reward is huge if you are truly successful. So we'll do an IPO and we'll try to build the automation-first platform. Yeah. We believe that our software will run all business applications in the world. So businesses want to build a software that businesses will run on the top of it. When someone wants to build a new company, the new Uber they should feel, let's build it directly automated on the top of this platform. This is what we want.
Hi, hello. Here.
Hello.
Thank you so much for your answer, for your first answer. I'm Andre. I'm looking for processes on a personal level which helped you get to where you are now. So I heard Y Combinator, that means learning continuously. I heard check back on past knowledge and see if it's still up to date and if you still agree with it. Do you have one of your daily habits or daily routines that you feel are at the top of what helped you bring up UiPath to where it is now? Thank you.
Yeah, look, first of all, I'm not a morning person. So I don't wake up in the morning and go to gym. That's not me. And I don't like routines. I don't maintain routines, maybe except, brushing my teeth, but that's having a shower. That's me. I think everybody, this type of self-help books, I think it's another waste of time. What's my routine? If you want is to read, I read as much as I can. Go read, find best books, and build yourself not only as an engineer. Best engineers on this planet have, more a span of interest. Read fiction, read philosophy, and look, what made me a better person, I think, was the game of tennis. So I used to play tennis. I have the ego that I play well. So sometimes playing people that I thought they are lesser than me made me so tense. This desire to win made me so tense, and not only the desire to win, but the thought that I should win. I am the better player. I should. It's like this arrogance, and this game helped me every time. Punished my arrogance every single time. It's a big punishment that you can take, and you cannot hide your ego anywhere. Why? It's some rules. You play, you lose. You play, you lose. You just learn how to lose better. But that's phenomenal to learn, and you learn to get rid of your ego.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. We have many late nights. But mornings are free. How about one more?
Yeah.
We're out of time.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
We're getting pushed off.
We'll have
Sorry, I gotta
time.
kick
You
you
can ask me over a drink after the
Yes.
All right.
after this event.
Thank you both very much.
Sean.
It was great to hear
Thank
you.
you.
Can we get a round of applause for
Thanks
everybody?
a lot.
Thank you.